Well, I'm sorry, we did not have volume. We've had all these technical issues this morning, and we're learning a lot of new technology. Let me kind of start again. I am John Self, and I was an executive recruiter for 27 years. And I was a better recruiter than I am a studio producer. So I can assure you that. So if you're looking for authenticity, folks, you got it here today. I recruited across 40 states, 38 to 40 states. And I also worked in the District of Columbia, so I call that a state, although they don't get a chance to vote in the election in the Congress. And I worked in 6 different countries: the Middle East, South Africa, South Australia, the Philippines, and Canada, where I did recruiting, executive recruiting, and clinical recruiting. And so I've had a lot of experience interviewing people. Over my career, I probably interviewed 9,000 people, and I've done a lot of searches very successfully. So I understand what recruiters are looking for. I understand what employers are looking for, and I can help you get to the point you need to be. Now at the top, you see a brand called Community, and it's your career community, and it is operated by johngself.com. That would be me, as part of our Guiding Your Career Academy. And basically, your career community allows people who need help in finding a job but have limited financial resources. Now, let me assure you one thing. I've been doing this a long time. I know what I'm doing, and I am not asking you to exchange quality for a more economical approach. What I'm trying to do is I'm really committed to helping people. And there are a lot of people out there that'll hire me for my high ticket offer, which is around $9,000, which is unlimited support for job search. We have another program that's about $4,000. But a lot of people now who've been out for looking for a job from some period of time don't have those resources. So what I want to tell you is your career community membership, you can get the help you need without sacrificing quality and without the big price tag. And I'm really proud of that, and I'm really committed to that. Let me tell you what you're going to get, and we're going to talk about the job market. First, you'll get every week, you're going to get 2 live coaching sessions, and we're going to talk about every facet of the search process. You're also going to get 4 30-minute check-in calls every month, with me to ask any questions or just explore any troubles you're having or talk about strategy. 4 30-minute calls every month. You will also, if you decide to buy one of our additional services that we don't offer in the membership program, you get 40% discount. 40% discount off the published price. And that will save you a lot of money, and we'll work with you in terms of payment and things like that. So that's what your career community is all about. And that's what Guiding Your Career is all about. So let's talk about our big topic for the day. Why can't I find a job? Well, I will tell you, it is really a matter of what they call a white collar recession. Back in the 2012, companies began to consolidate and get rid of the total number of executives they had, trying to be a more lean, focused, responsive organization. You saw it where companies had, 4 or 5 plants in a region. Instead of having 5 senior executives as general managers, they reduced the general manager role somewhat and put in a regional general manager who worked with the administrative officer at each plant. And they saved a lot of money. And the general managers that used to have autonomy running those plants, most of them left to find other jobs because, quite frankly, they didn't want to have a step back on their resume or cut and pay. And then some just simply retired. But what I'm saying is, since 2012, you've had what we call job extension. So in other words, more people are reporting to fewer people, and the fewer people are the executives and the managers. Amazon today announced that they're implementing their reductions that they had previously announced in December, and now managers must have a minimum of 8 direct reports. And those and the Amazons, that's a lot of responsibility reporting into one manager. That will eventually affect the senior executives. If you don't need as many managers, you're not going to need as many executives. And this is all about cutting cost. And if you'll pardon me for being a little bit cynical, It's about ensuring that the top guys get their quarterly and annual bonuses. And I hate to be that way, but there's a lot of that going around. I posted on Substack today a note with a video from Simon Sinek who addresses what's happened to capitalism, but that's another story for another day. So, why you can't find a job? Well, quite frankly, there's just fewer numbers of executive and management positions, and there's a whole boatload of people trying to get those jobs. And when you apply on LinkedIn and some other sites, you will see absolutely 150, 200 people sometimes applying for a certain job. Now, a lot of people are complaining about, gosh, I spend all this time and effort, and then I find out the job is ghosted. Nobody ever responds back to me. A lot of companies are keeping jobs posted that they're not trying to fill just to keep their name out there. And the problem is that eats up a lot of your valuable time. You're chasing ghosts when you need to be networking to find a job. And so you waste a lot of time. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to deal with that. But right off the bat, I'll tell you, if you see a job listed on LinkedIn or on one of the other big jobs posts, whether it's a manager or supervisor or even check their website to be sure it shows up there. If they're, because a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times that'll indicate whether it's a phantom job or not. Now, the other complication is up to 70% of the better jobs are not even being posted anymore because companies got tired of all of the onslaught of unqualified people. And so they are cutting back on their use of recruiters, and they're doing more LinkedIn scanning, proactively scanning profiles. They can do thousands in a not a lot of time and speed up the search process. And they're making decisions on who they want to try to talk to based on LinkedIn profiles. So you got to get your profile up to date and scream your value to high heaven. You can find a job because there are a lot of people looking and there are fewer jobs available. Do you think, and I get this question all the time, do you think that this will improve over time? And the answer is maybe, but we may have turned a corner and we may be resetting companies and how they view the number of executives they will need over time. And I think that's probably some of this, how some of this is going to come to play out. Companies are not going to hire back as many executives as they had pre-pandemic. Okay, and that's really when you saw an acute flip in the number of the imbalance in jobs and people seeking jobs. So it's not going to change anytime soon, even if there wasn't economic uncertainty. Okay, the economy's fine; it's still growing jobs, not at the executive management level. But if you're a waiter or waitress, or you're in the service industry or something like that, there are plenty of jobs out there. In fact, some jobs have been vacant for quite some time. Those are lower paid. So a lot of them entry level or mid level, but they're not executive level, with 70, 80, or 100, 150,000 up in compensation. Those jobs just are not showing up on the post right now. So, the jobs are out there, but they're lower level jobs. So every month when you hear the economy created 225,000 new jobs this month, that does not mean they created 225,000 management or executive jobs, because I guarantee you they did not. I then get asked, how long will it take for this to get back to normal? Well, I think you need to look at it in terms of how long will it take, excuse me, how long will it take for the inventory of all these people looking for jobs? How long will it take to get them absorbed back into gainful employment? And I would say probably 18 to 24 months. So if you're out there hoping that you'll have this magical Trump effect, and I'm not being critical of the president, but if you're going to have a magical Trump effect and that suddenly the gates are going to open and everybody's going to start hiring executives and managers again, well, we have an old Southern expression. It goes, you're whistling past the graveyard. You're hoping against hope that something will change. The only way you're going to find a job is not somebody changing the economy, because one person can't do that. The only way you're going to find a job is do the hard, miserable blocking and tackling to get there. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. So I hope this kind of oversight is helping you a little bit. Now let's move on and talk a little bit about what you have to do in order to be more more competitive. And competitive it is. It is extremely competitive. Let's first of all talk about your resume. That's your first interview. You all know about applicant tracking systems and AI automation. Well, that is now being spread to candidate sourcing. And so, really, all of this AI talk and all this automation, machine automation, it's basically dehumanizing the front end of the recruiting process, especially for hard to find people. In other words, you're not going to be talking to a corporate recruiter initially. You may be talking to an avatar, or you may get a letter from a search firm that they've used LinkedIn, and they're asking, here's the job, here's the basic information. Are you interested? If you are, then you need to go to the bottom of the letter and click the link. Now, let's stop right there and backtrack. One of the problems that really screwed people up is when ATS became widespread. It's now used in 96% of all the businesses in America. I hire ZipRecruiter, Indeed, they all use a form of ATS to route the resumes. If your resume does not use the keywords and phrases from the job summary, you're not going to get routed correctly. You'll probably get kicked out. And even if you're routed correctly, if your resume does not sell your value, your results, what you've accomplished in the past, you will not get selected. And if you submit one of those resumes online, you have to customize it every time you submit. So even if you get a letter from a recruiter, which is legitimate, it's got the little round photo that LinkedIn uses, and a lot of bigger firms now are using that to speed up the sourcing. You still have to customize the resume. And so that's why it's so important not to waste time on chasing ghosting ads, because customizing your resume can take 30 to 45 minutes or longer. And especially if you're then asked to fill out an application. So you want to target the jobs that you're qualified for first and foremost. Don't apply for stuff, quote, hoping something will work out. The computer doesn't understand the concept of hoping something will work out. It's dealing with a mathematical algorithm, looking for certain words and phrases. They're looking for experience, and they're looking for accomplishments, your value. Now, the next thing you're really going to have to do and really focus on is you're going to have to focus on networking. And I know a lot of people hate networking. Actually, I think it's one of the most joyous parts of when I was a recruiter and when I was a business developer. Networking was one of the great joys of my life because I met so many interesting people, and some of those are still friends and colleagues today. But here's how you use networking today. First of all, if you're starting a job search, you need to have a plan and a strategy for how you're going to execute. And you need to start building a network. Need to have that for your entire career. And then you need to start building a network that aligns with your plan. Now, is your plan going to change as you go through your career? Yeah, probably. But then you adjust your plan, you adjust your networking strategy to be sure that you're constantly updating your networking to be sure it's in alignment with what you want to accomplish with your career and your life. If you don't have that alignment, you're going to get stuck trying to find a job the hard way, and probably the unsuccessful way. I have had people who come to me who did not have a big network and have said it took them 8 to 14 months or longer. And if it's taking you longer and you're past a year, recruiters may not want to look at you because they assume something's wrong. So, what you want to do, even if you don't have an established network, pick out about 20 or 30 places where you think you might want to work. Go to LinkedIn, put that name of that organization in the dialog box at the upper top left corner, and see how many names it brings up. Then start looking for names that are executive level, senior management, HR, recruiters, and start then reaching out to them on DMs. When you want to connect with them, always send them a customized message. Hi, I admired your organization. I'm in the job market, but here's what I've done quickly, briefly. Don't try to send them a resume because you can't initially on the connection request. But I want to make you aware that I'm available and have a strong track record in these areas. Okay. And that's the best you can hope for. And then if you find somebody else that they respond back, it's great to be connected. Just say, then you can submit your resume, attach it to the DM, the direct mail, and say, look, I know that a lot of people aren't hiring right now, but I just wanted you to be aware of my resources and my experience and my level of success. Would you mind sharing with the appropriate people in your organization, and call me if there's ever anything open that matches with my experience? I know that's a long shot, but if you do it enough times, you will find a job. And it's amazing, but it's not easy, and there's a lot of rejection. So if you're looking for easy, this is not the time to be looking for a job. It's not easy. but it's doable. One of the things we talk about a lot in our group coaching sessions is reminding people how to use networking, how to use messaging, how to use content marketing to build your brand at LinkedIn primarily. So that's a key thing. The final thing I want to talk to you about today is a lot of people think they're really great at interviewing, and they're not. I mean, I've interviewed so many people. They're not bad. Most of the people are just average. They're sometimes they're kind of on the mediocre side of average. Sometimes they're on the positive side of average. But to be competitive today, good is not good enough. Average is not good enough. You've got to work on your skills so that when you finally get to the table and you finally claw your way through all the garbage, noise, and competition, that you've got to make the most out of that opportunity. And we teach people how to be more effective in interviewing. And we have different kinds of courses. We have a master class. We have some mock interviews where you can get feedback and some lower level instruction, short level instruction. You won't get a full class, but based on your performance in the mock interview, we'll give you feedback. If you're a member, all of those things are discounted. Okay. And we used to have a membership enrollment program. We've got done away with that. So it's just $79 a month, and then you get access to a lot of good coaching. Some of it's online, and some of it's part of your membership. And then there's some other programs that are premium, and you buy those incrementally based on your need. But interviewing is so important. You have to be able to establish your value, and it starts off with that question, tell us about yourself. Don't go through your resume unless they specifically ask you to walk me through your resume. What they want to hear is, what can you do for us? What are you good at, and why should we hire you? That's really what they're asking. And if you want to demur and think that they're going to figure it out by reading your resume, you're wasting a great opportunity. We can teach you how to be memorable, how to anticipate questions, and how to tell stories so that people will trust you and like you. And guess what? People that are really qualified and had a lot of experience, if the interviewers don't trust them and like them, they're not going to get hired. I don't care how many credentials they have, whether they went to Harvard, Yale, or Princeton, doesn't matter. You've got to be trustworthy, you've got to be likable, and you have to be qualified. And most importantly, you have to be able to tell your story in an effective manner. I hope that has been helpful to you today. We're learning how to use Instagram, and so I'm going to keep working on this and perfecting this. And I hope that you'll be patient with us. If you would like to get more information on the membership program, go to johngself.com. johngself.com. Click the little red button on the right side of the home page. It floats up and down the page, and it says become a member today and save money. And you click that, and it'll take you to the course page, and there'll be a brief video that reiterates what I just told you today. And then if you want to join, you click the join today, and it takes you to the registration page, and you put in your credit card information. And it just draws every month unless you decide no more. And if you decide toward the end of the month or within 10 days or 5 days when you started your membership, you don't want to do it anymore, go in and cancel your account or call me and I'll cancel it for you. We don't want you paying for something that you don't think you're getting value for. We're all about helping you. We're all about helping you excel in your career, get a better job, and to be more comfortable in managing your career. And we are really here to help you. And so that's what we're all about. I'm John Self, and I really want to thank you for joining us today and your patience as we learn how to operate this new technology. Cheers, everybody, and we'll see you next week